What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And Rev Deb, that meditation was just what I needed. And I know it's just what many of us needed. As we breathe in, I am the love of the world. And we breathe out, my love heals the world. Thank you, Rev Deb. And welcome again, everyone, to our Sunday service celebration. And I just want to take a moment to invite you, if you are able and willing to turn on your video so that I can see your beautiful face. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Sharon Madden, who, if it's the Sharon Madden I think it is a dear, started out as a colleague at Edwin Gould Services for Children and Families and ended as a dear friend. Hi, Sharon. It's good to see you, love. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. When I found that song, I was looking for the song, What the World Needs Now is Love, I think by Roberta Flack, if I'm not mistaken. And I came upon that one and decided to use that one instead. And it was done for another reason. It was done due to an act of violence in Orlando a couple of years ago. And now we find ourselves once again in a place where that song resonates so strongly, because we know, as always, there's never a time when the world does not need love. There's never a time when the world does not need love. So I bring you greetings again. I am Rev Melissa. And so may peace be with you. And so I am aware and I am present that many people are feeling despondent, are feeling hopeless, are feeling fearful, are feeling angry. And no matter what your point of view may be about Israel and Palestine, my intention is for you to receive something through our service today that will center you in that space of love even deeper. So I want to share a quote by Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela said, "I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed towards the sun, one's feet moving forward. There are many dark moments when my faith in humanity was sorely tested, but I would not and could not give myself up to despair." And that quote probably most accurately reflects my feeling when world events happen. I am optimistic. I am optimistic. I remain optimistic no matter what. So we are in our October theme, and I don't think it's a coincidence. You know, you may not know, but CSL creates these themes and topics like almost a year in advance. So there was no way for them to foresee that in October, our theme would be so necessary, let's say necessary, for the times that we find ourselves in right now. And so the theme for October is playing with paradox. And our topic today is shaking up your worldview. So I already shook up the service a little bit by going in a different order, but we also need to shake up our worldview. So I usually recap our Sundays past, but I just want to get right into it today. So I'm going to read a list to you, and you tell me what you think this is a list of. Some of you may already know the answer because I posted it on my social media. But here's the list: Afghanistan, Algeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Colombia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ethiopia, Ghana, Iraq, Israel, Ivory Coast, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Mexico, Mozambique, Myanmar, I might be pronouncing that wrong, Niger, Palestine, Russia, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, Tanzania, Togo, Tunisia, that might be wrong too, Uganda, Ukraine, and Yemen. And I suspect there are probably others, but we'll just start right there. What is that a list of? Countries currently at war. Yes, Jan. 34. I believe that war is like having a worldview of a hammer. To a hammer, everything is a nail. And so countries are hammering away at each other instead of seeking reconciliation and resolution through peaceful mechanism. It may seem like a paradox to know peace in the midst of war. We know that war creates more after its kind. Violence begets violence. It is past time for the collective us to shift or to shake up this asinine policy that war brings peace. Violence is never a path to peace. It's time to shake up this worldview that some people are chosen and others are not. It's time to shake up this worldview that a land can be discovered even when a nation of people are already living on so-called discovered land. It is time to shake up the worldview that Black and brown bodies are dangerous. It is time to shake up the worldview that we are separate and apart from each other. It is time to shake up the worldview that grassroots and community voices are representative of the representatives in the House of Representatives. It is time to shake up the worldview that the world news represents all the news in the world. By the way, let's be vigilant, very vigilant and conscious and discerning about what you are allowing into your psyche and your subconscious mind. Spending all day watching the news is not a way to maintain your good state of mind. Let me tell you, it is not. The news does not program paradox. The news is either or. The news has a way of desensitizing the loss of life down to numbers, ratings, and profits, to win or to lose, us versus them. So instead of binge watching the news, how about just be kind to your neighbor? So it's time to shake up the worldview that humanity's problems can be solved by military means. It has never worked. William Dembski, he's an American mathematician and philosopher. He said this: if your worldview starts with a problematic origin story, everything else is going to be infested. Let me say that again. If your worldview starts with a problematic origin story, everything else is going to be infested. So math is pretty exact. I think we could all agree on that. And I remember when I was in school and I had to take a math test, especially if it was long division, I would get so many wrong because I would forget to carry over the number. I would just forget to carry over the number. And once I would forget to carry over the number, guess what? I would get the wrong answer. I see some of y'all can relate to that. I'm not the only one, right? This one little error of not carrying over the number would impact the answer, and my answer will always be wrong. If I had a kind and compassionate teacher, they would give me partial credit, right? So what we are forgetting to carry over is love. We are forgetting to carry over love. And this is problematic. This era of not carrying over love in our thinking, in our feeling tone, in our seeing, in our believing, in our knowing, and being love itself will always cause the infestation of separation, oppression, and aggression. So I don't propose myself to be an expert on the Middle East, and I don't propose myself to be a religious scholar. However, I do recognize that the interpretation of the origin story of one group of people being chosen over another based on their religion, their culture, their race, their gender, or anything else is not God's view. The misinterpretation of the Bible, the Quran, the Torah is problematic. It's problematic. And it is not how we can resolve this issue that is problematic and has been problematic because it is our origin story. The origin story is problematic. And therefore, everything that comes after that is infested. Just look at the origin story of the United States of America. The origin story of the United States of America is problematic. It is so problematic that it has been sewn into the very fabric of the founding articles of this country. Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution of the United States declared that any person who is not free would be counted as 3/5 of a free individual for the purposes of determining congressional representation. The 3/5 clause thus increased the power of states that enslaved people. That is problematic. That is the United States of America's origin story. And we could go even further back than that. But I won't, because I think you'll get my point. If your worldview starts with a problematic origin story, everything else is going to be infested. There is an infestation. There is an infestation, and I call that infestation separation. If I had to nail it down to one word, it is an infestation of separation. And yet, like Nelson Mandela, I am optimistic. I am knowing that peace shall prevail. So we are speaking about paradox this month. Oneness embraces the and both. It reflects a paradox mindset. Either or can take us to a place of limitation. And we see the examples of that all around the world, not just in Israel. It happens all around the world. So I was speaking to a friend of mine last night, and he's Jewish, and he was calling me to talk about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. and he was expressing his viewpoint about everything. And then he asked me, what side was I on? What side was I on? And I took a deep breath and I got quiet. And I told him that I'm on the side of love. That's the side that I'm on. I am pro-love. It's time to shake up our world view. There are many more of us, I truly believe this in my heart, that there are more of us with a worldview of knowing peace and oneness. I believe that. Yesterday, I participated in the World Peace Meditation that was organized by Father James Tryman. So I had a small group of people on Zoom, and I tell you, the feeling of peace was so palpable that it brought tears to my eyes. We Zoomed peace all over the world, peace everywhere for everybody. So we have to shake up this problematic notion that peace is at the level of effect. Peace is not at the level of effect when we talk about the law of cause and effect. Peace is not the effect. Peace is at the level of cause. It is created within and expressed without. So for there to be peace in the world, we must first be peace ourselves. Peace must begin with me. It must begin with you. It must begin with us. Mother Teresa said, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. We must remember who we are. We must remember that we are one. We must remember that there is a power for good in the universe, and that we can use it for good. We can use it for peace. Peace for me, peace for you. Freedom for me, freedom for you, and all of our siblings on this planet. The American monk, poet, and social activist Thomas Merton said, peace demands the most heroic labor and the most difficult sacrifice. It demands greater heroism than war. It demands greater fidelity to the truth and a much more perfect purity of conscience. So peace work is heroes work. It's heroic work. Peace work is like love's work. Peace is a state of harmony. War is a state of disharmony. So let's shake up the worldview by being an instrument of peace. Let's be pro-love. When someone asks you, what side are you on? Are you pro this? Are you anti that? Say, I am simply pro-love. I am pro-love. Let's be pro-peace. If you don't know what to do, be that. Be that. Ernest Holmes has a chapter in the Science of Mind text that's titled, Let us not fool ourselves. And he says this, that this, speaking about, specifically, he was speaking about spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. He said that this is not a process of saying peace when there is no peace. So I'm not delusional about what's happening in the world, right? We get to know the principle of peace until it is demonstrated. We get to hold the power of peace until it is demonstrated. Peace is the power at the heart of God. So we shake up the world view through the realization of peace. We are knowing only peace. We are feeling peace that surpasses all understanding. Because a lot of the times, I don't understand what is happening in the world. I just don't understand it. And I choose to spend my time and my energy and my consciousness and all that is within me focused on that which I do understand. I understand love. I understand peace. And so I give more of my time and energy to that. When I'm watching the news, which is very rare, I rarely leave that experience feeling peace. I usually have to go and get myself right back into my right mind. Right? So, feel the peace that surpasses all understanding. This is a peace that the world cannot take away, because guess what? The world didn't give it. And what the world didn't give, the world can't take away. So we shake up the worldview through the realization of the principle of peace, which is the power at the heart of God. Since we are one with God, then it is also the power at the heart of you through our unification with this one power. We are unified with the one power. We are unified with harmony. We are unified with peace, the one peace that is my mind and our mind. So I invite you to practice peace with me now through the world peace meditation. And the world peace meditation uses the prayer by St. Francis of Assisi, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument of your peace. If you don't know what to do, become an instrument of peace. Tap into that which is within you. Peace is at the level of cause. Tap into that which you already are. You already are love. And so we get to demonstrate that. And we get to send this energy out into the atmosphere across this planet, including those 34 countries that I listed and even more. No one is excluded. So let us just go within. And I'm going to play this